Hi everyone, I'm Katie Harris, your wellness coordinator here at Edgewater. Today we are going to be talking about one of the largest muscle groups in your body, your chest. So every month we are going to focus on a different muscle group to talk about each month so we can give you guys a little bit of knowledge on why it's important to keep these muscles strong and what they help us do in a day. Chest helps us push things open. It can help us wash our hair. It can even help us through some nice deep breathing. So we want to make sure it stays strong by doing a few different movements in your exercise routine. Today we are going to be talking about a push-up and how to do a push-up properly. It's a great exercise to do because you can do it at home without any equipment. There are lots of different modifications to make it easier or harder. So I will walk you through all of that today. The chest is made up of a couple muscle groups. We have the pec major and the pec minor that work together to help us through all of these movements that we can do. So our chest can help us flex our arms forward. It can help us bring our arms across our body. And it can help us, like I said, through some of that deep breathing. So as we take a deep breath in, you feel your ribs and chest expanding and then falling as you release. So as we strengthen those muscles, it helps really maintain that ability to do those deep breaths, to push those doors open. Talking about push-ups here. We want to make sure that we're doing our push-ups properly. So there's a lot of different ways that we can do this to work different parts of the chest. And we want to make sure that we're doing it properly and safely. So the first thing that we'll talk about is your elbow position. Sometimes people take their hands far out wide, their elbows in line with their shoulders. And your shoulders don't necessarily like to be in this position. It puts a lot of pressure on the joint. So what we want to do to release some of that pressure is to track our elbows down around a 30 to 45 degree angle as your hands are on the floor or maybe it's on a wall to do that push-up safely. You might see some people bring their elbows in narrow to do a push-up. This would cause you to just use more of your triceps in the back of your arm instead of your chest, which is okay to do if that's what you want to work on, but we're talking about our chest today, so we want to make sure that we're keeping our hands and our elbows kind of in that 45 degree angle position, okay? Hands are going to be just a little bit wider than the shoulders, so you place your hands on the ground, hands just outside the shoulders, then we check into our body position. Your hands are going to be placed directly under or in line with the shoulders. You can go on your knees or your toes here, whichever one you decide. You want to make sure that you keep your body in a nice flat line. So when we're on our toes or on our knees, you don't want your butt too far up in the air. You don't want your hips too low towards the mat. If we keep our body in a nice flat line, if you imagine a line drawing from the crown of my head down through my shoulder, knee, hip, knee, and ankle, it would be a nice straight line, and that's where you want to be. If your hips are too far up into the air, that might be because you have a core that's a little too weak and you're not engaging the core, the glutes, the hip flexors properly in order to do this push-up. If you're going too low, it could be the same issue as far as just not engaging the core properly. So if you find yourself in either of those positions, feel free to drop to your knees to make that push-up a little bit easier. You still want to try to stay in that straight line from the shoulders, hips, down to your knees to do this push-up. And remember, as you are going down here, elbows are tracking back around that 45 degree angle to relieve that pressure from the shoulders. Okay? Push-ups are one of the few moves that you can do to work the chest. The other ones that you can do can include chest presses or chest flies. That would be where you're lying on your back. Typically you would be on a bench, but you could also do it on the floor right here. You'd have some dumbbells in your hands to go down and push the dumbbells away from you. Or if you wanted to do a chest fly, you bring your palms to face together and do a chest fly. So those are a few other ones that you can do to work your chest, but try out some of those push-ups in your workout routine. Or maybe you're just starting a workout routine and you need to know what to do. Well, this is one move that you can do a few times a week. So let's try 2 to 3 days a week trying to do some of these push-ups. Like I said, you can do them on your knees or your toes, or maybe you need to start in a more elevated position. So if I have a chair or a bench in front of me in a standing position, or you could even do a wall push-up. Your hands are on the wall to do a push-up. Again, just taking these push-ups step by step to be able to make your way down from the wall to a counter, to a bench, and then down to the floor to be able to work your way up all the way to your push-ups on your toes. Okay, so 2 to 3 days a week, try around 10 to 15 reps. Again, that's just the goal. If you need to do a few less, or maybe you need to do a few more, you can do that and do what works out for you. Make sure you're giving yourself that rest between each day to make sure that we are allowing those muscles to recover in order to let them build and make them stronger and stronger each time, okay? It's also really important to make sure that our chest is nice and stretched out, because we tend to all be forward facing, forward moving. You know, we're sitting at a desk or we're working. How many of you right now are sitting like this with a slouched back? Probably a lot of you. So let's sit up nice and tall. Pull your shoulders back. Make sure your back is nice and strong. And your chest right now is stretched out just a little bit more. So when we tend to stay at our desks a lot, or you're working with whatever it is, maybe you're chopping vegetables, we're all working in front of us. And the more we stay like this, the tighter those chest muscles get. So think about your posture, opening up that chest. You can do a few chest stretches in addition to your push-ups, making sure that we stay nice and flexible through the front of our body. A couple that you can do, placing your hands on the ground. So we're in a tabletop position here. You can bring one arm out to the side, and then we drop that shoulder down towards the ground to feel a good stretch through the shoulder there and chest. So you can bring it up and bring it back down. You can hold this stretch for somewhere between 15 and 30 seconds. Again, you can do 2 to 3 reps of this. Another one that I really like to do is using a doorway. So imagine a doorway right outside my arms. And what I would do is step through. So my hands are on the door frame. I'm stepping through. So again, I feel that stretch through the chest there. Or maybe you only have access to like a corner of a wall. You can do it one arm at a time as well, keeping your hand back on the wall and stepping through for that chest stretch to make sure that we stay nice and open, to make sure that we have good posture. All good things to think about throughout this month. Try to add those push-ups into your workout routine. Think about sitting up nice and tall, taking those deep breaths to keep our chest engaged. Thank you guys for listening today. We'll see you next time.